On today's Beardo and Weirdo, we're joined by stand-up comedian Pete Lee, who was the first person to talk to Yungblud when he walked off stage and the last person to talk to Ozzy Osbourne. Also, he was too jacked up to hang out with Metallica.
Jacked up?
Well,
that's what we're going to call it?
I was going to call it gacked. Is that not good? I don't know. Jacked?
Let's just say Pete's holding.
Pete is definitely holding. This is going to be the easiest hour ever. After 30 some odd episodes and dozens of rock stars, we finally get one of my people in.
Finally got a comedian on the show. Finally.
Finally.
Rock stars are fun though, but like they're also just cooler than us, you know?
Oh, dude, we have this conversation.
How was that concert? Cool.
Pete Lee is his name. He's, in my opinion, I'm trying to summarize you, and in my mind, I just think he's the Dean Martin of comedy. He's the cool guy on stage.
Yeah.
Effortlessly. Like, he's so chill and so low key, but my God, the material is so fucking strong.
Oh, yeah.
And the crowd work is so strong. Not that I don't consider you a crowd work comic, but you don't get rattled by anything going on.
Oh yeah, I think it's fun. Anytime something weird happens, there's an opportunity for something crazy to happen. You know?
Oh yeah,
I love it.
I always find that, like, when you first start out, and did you start out in Milwaukee?
I started out in Minneapolis, and then like Milwaukee, and then Madison. Do you remember the Milwaukee club where JD owned it? And
well, there was a crazy. I don't know if I might have mentioned this to Chris. There was a crazy club in Milwaukee that I was scared death of.
Really?
I didn't want to go to Milwaukee ever in my life because of this club that was run by bikers, right?
Yeah, it was run by the Outlaws. And by the way, shout out to the Outlaws. I don't know. I mean, they had us to their club a bunch of times. They're really nice. I don't know. Anytime that there's like a biker gang or like a mob that owns a comedy club, or when I was in Arizona, I made friends with a couple of cartel guys. I was like, you guys just have weird jobs. It's like a military job, you know. Like you just got to go in and do some weird things, you know.
But there were stories about. I had heard a story. I could swear I heard that Louis Anderson was threatened in that club once. But then there's a story that we work a full weekend as comedians, and then it's after the last show on Saturday or last show on Sunday that you get brought into the manager's office, and then he tells you, all right, so here's what we did, here's what your pay is. And there's it's urban legend, the story that I heard, that somebody came in to get paid, and the biker who runs the comedy club, or one of the bikers who runs the comedy club, goes, hey, can I show you something funny? And he goes, yeah. And this VHS days, he puts a VHS tape, and it's a security camera footage from that room. Mm-hmm. And it's the guy and a couple other guys beating the shit out of somebody in that room.
Yeah.
And then afterwards he goes, yeah, man, isn't that great?
Yep.
So how much do I owe you?
Yeah.
See, that's why Pete loves going there so much.
Yeah.
Because looking at him, you would know
now,
this man is a badass.
And before we get to why he's a badass,
certified.
Yeah.
Had you heard that story before about?
I know the comic that they beat up in the tape. Yeah.
Really?
He's now doing great. So I mean, God bless the broken road.
Yeah.
that young man grew up to be Pauly Shore. What? Get out of here.
Oh my God. I
wow.
wish.
That was Pete Lee before his martial arts days.
Yeah.
So what?
Well, they used to pay you with a gun on the table. That was the other thing. Like, so he just had a gun on the table, and it wasn't like, you know, you're not supposed to point guns.
Yeah.
Like, imagine it was pointed exactly at you.
Of course.
And he would pay you half. He would pay you half of so. And by the way, when you went into feature, you got paid $300,
Mm-hmm.
and so imagine he gives you $150, and then he goes, "Well, convince me why you should get the other half."
With the gun on the table.
Oh, what a nightmare!
And so I would have to go, well, JD, you know, I drove all the way down here, and by the way, I'm saying his name because I think he's passed away, and you know, I think the statute of limitations is done.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a thing where like that would happen, and it was really intense or whatever. Like, he was really taking the piss out of you, and like it was funny to him, which I guess, I don't know, like, you know, comedians, we have a dark sense of humor, and they might have a darker sense of humor. If you're in that business, I don't know. It's like, have you ever hung out with firefighters and paramedics? Like, their sense of humor is
cops,
just like,
cops, same
cops.
way, dark sense of humor.
Dude, I was down in Ybor City, my ex's uncle was like brought these group of cops, and you know how Ybor City in Tampa just turns into like
6th Street.
Yeah, it's a gang paradise at night, and they're just shoving each other into these gang members and laughing, and like that's their sense of humor, you know. So him paying you with a gun on the table, I'm not trying to defend it. It sucked. I mean, and I'm also not a very good debater, so I was like. I walked out of there sometimes with 250.
Yeah. Who is a good debater with a gun pointed at him?
I can't believe of all the cities that Pete could have come out of to do stand-up comedy, that he came out of that club, because that really was the one club I didn't want to go to. And it's funny because I did hear that the guy had passed away. It's funny when these comedy club owners pass away and you see the tributes, and you can tell in the language people are using. There's that guy, Craig Glazier, from Sanford and Sons, out in, or is it Stanford or Sanford?
I think it's Sanford.
Sanford and Sons in Kansas City. Yep. Notorious comedy club manager guy who he was a total cartoon character. And when he died, his Facebook page, I've never seen so many posts start with the words, you know what? Love him or hate him. Like every tribute started with love him or hate him.
He had such a big heart.
You know,
big stuff.
Big heart, small wallet. I've never heard of so many comedians. And by the way, I never worked that club because Lewis Black told me not to. But like Lewis Black literally went, he's like, that's the second time I've played that club, and he didn't pay me. And like just didn't pay him. Yeah. And like imagine going to a weekend. We might get the check mailed, or they might go, I had to pay the liquor guy, so I couldn't get you. And we know what clubs are having trouble and what clubs don't. But that club was packed all the time. Yeah. And the guy just didn't have the money.
Oh, there was a guy who tried to open up a club in Huntington, West Virginia. And I was tipped off from a guy. There's a guy in Orlando who's kind of shady, and there's a lot of stories about this guy in Orlando. And he said, hey, can you do me a favor and just work this club for me? And the kid had a lot of money, and he wanted to get in the comedy business. And when he stiffed me, which I've been lucky, I've only been stiffed twice. He gave me a check that bounced, and it's only happened to me twice. I'm very lucky. But I started, after a few weeks of not hearing from him, I just started calling. I looked at his calendar, and I was like, hey, Pete, just want to let you know, the guy hasn't paid me. Hey, Jim Brewer, just want to let you know, blah, blah, blah. Hey, Sebastian Maniscalco, just want to let you know. Like, and everyone I was talking to is like, oh, I already heard. And I told him, you got to pay me. Like, it's a small community.
Yeah, we really are. Yeah, it's and I like that we stick up for ourselves. And it's also a reason why, like, even right now, like, you know, there's that Riyadh Comedy Festival.
Yes, I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah, and first of all, I went over to Saudi Arabia, and I was the first. So Marlon Wayans and Gabriel Iglesias are two of my friends. Right. And but I went over there, and imagine they were touting me as the first American comedian that had ever sold tickets. And I was like, well, that's not true, because Gabriel Iglesias did. Yep. And so did Marlon Wayans. Mm-hmm. But imagine being asked by a reporter that was asked by the family to interview me and ask that question. And they wanted a specific answer. And I was like, no, they're Americans. Yeah. And they're like, no, but what does it feel like to be the first American?
Yeah. They're like, American.
And so I just was instructed by my handler, like, just answer the question. And so the first time that I ever, like really hung out with Gabe after that, I had to be like, I'm sorry. Like, I know you're an American, but like when you're over there, first of all, they're really kind to you. You also realize that like the people are really nice. And I just saw a thing on Barstool where they're like, oh, these guys are drinking the Kool-Aid and they're taking the money and they're doing whatever. But it's also like, I don't know, if somebody came over to the U.S. to do stuff, you could point out shit that we've done and go, it's evil, and how dare you adopt their customs. Mm-hmm. When I went over there, I found that the people were very sweet. The people that brought me over there were really, really great. And I just had I had great things to say about them. And then, I don't know, like, I know that they're getting paid a lot of money to do this, but I don't think that comparatively, everybody likes to go like, oh, well, those people are evil. And we're evil. History's evil. Like
the entertainment industry in general is evil.
Is he? Yeah. Like I don't know who makes these mics, but somebody who invented this evil.
Good old Tommy Shore.
Dude, I love Dr. Pepper. I love it. And you can't tell me that the inventor of Dr. Pepper was a good man. Yeah. Like that guy said words we can't say and probably kicked his dog. And like,
we know that about Papa John.
Yeah,
absolutely,
dude. Yep. It's funny because there's always been that thing with friends who will be like, all right, for $1 million, would you have sex with your mom? Yeah. Or and it's like, all right, For $1 million, would you go to Saudi Arabia and do a 1-hour comedy show? Yeah.
And it's like, at some point, aren't we ambassadors going over there, showing them like the good side of America, and they're kind of showing us their good side as well?
Yeah.
You're always afraid of the people that you don't know, period. Once you meet them in person, it's like, oh, okay, they're an asshole like me.
Also,
this is all cool.
Yeah. And Saudi is also doing a thing. It's called Saudi Up. So by 2038, they're going to have all the rights in whatever of like a European country. So every year they get one thing. Like I remember, do you remember when it was news like women can drive?
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Recently.
I mean.
And a week before I went there.
Don't get me started about that, fellas.
Yeah. Wrong move.
Yeah. I am from Kentucky. Come on.
That's so funny. Women used to have to wear the traditional garb, and now they can wear it or not. But like, imagine 8 days before I went over there, they had to wear the garb, and then they're wearing like belted Lakers jerseys and high heels with their sexy legs to the show.
Whoa!
And then other women were in the traditional garb, which the garb to them is almost like us wearing a tuxedo, or like you know the traditional. I'm going to call it chic outfit. I don't know. I'm probably been insulting, but that thing for men is like them wearing a tuxedo.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So there were couples where, you know, the women were dressed in the burqa or whatever, and they were like, "Oh my God, I'm dressed up." And then the other gals that were wearing the Lakers stuff were like, "Oh, this is cool too."
Right.
But the way that it was explained to me was, you know, like on day 9 before that, if a woman were to do that, dead. But now if one day after it's legal, if somebody was like real conservative and they're like, "I don't like that," dead. So like they're basically doing something very interestingly. And when I went over there, they were like, "We think comedy is a good way to do this." Like, and I'm going to cite an example. Like look at how much people love Irish people. Irish people have a good fucking sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And any group of people, if you want to be accepted into society, fucking study the Irish. Like, study the gays right now. They have a great sense of humor, and they're like doing pride parades and like they have a great sense of humor with themselves. And so I think that Saudi is, by embracing humor, they're not trying to like corrupt Dave Chappelle or whatever. They're going, no, like we're trying to go towards this thing.
Yeah.
And imagine a society can only change about 2% at a time. And that's something that I just heard Obama say on a podcast.
And you're repeating it?
Yeah, and I'm repeating it. And
I was like, "Well, that was kind of profound."
Yeah.
Well, I took it from Obama. He did a 1-hour show on HBO last year, and I took it from his special.
Yeah. But like, imagine they're trying to force this change where they were a country of like Sharia law, so they're trying to shift that in a titrating fashion. And so I don't know, and like everybody that I know that like, you know, like there's just all these idiots online that, well, they're bad and you're bad and you're taking money.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, first of all, having money is great. Second of all, going to see a culture, like I guarantee they're doing what I did, where I went around to like the communities and I talked to people.
Yeah.
And did you know that they love fried chicken? Saudis, they have this fried chicken place called Al-Baik, which literally means the beak.
Okay.
Al-Baik. And it's like their Cane's chicken. It's their Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
And they fucking love it. And so like every day I'd meet people that would be like, "Can I take you to Al-Baik?"
Nice.
And then I'd go to Al-Baik again. And they're great. I don't know. You find out over like, if people want to yell at you for exploring another culture, they're idiots. The same people that are telling them that they're bad are the ones going like, "We need to love everyone from around the world, but not them."
Right.
And not Karens, you know, like it's, so I don't know.
That's really well said. And I will say that, and I don't know if you've been in this position. I don't know if there's a musician equivalent of this, Chris, but there's been a couple of moments where
what about a bass player equivalent though?
where I've been told, "Hey, we're interested in you to do whatever, a commercial, a potential TV show, whatever, and it's big money." And then they tell me the idea. One of the first things I say is, "Wow, that's funny." I always say that. I go, "That's a great idea." And all I'm thinking about is that cash that they're going to be offering me.
Absolutely.
I'm like, is anyone even going to see this? Like,
Right.
are you the same way when it's a potentially big gig that you immediately start complimenting the people who offer you the gig?
Oh yeah. That's so perfect. And, in my head, I'm going.
Please
put
me on this podcast, please.
Yeah, I'm going. How can I subtly rewrite this?
Yeah.
You know, can we do some improv takes?
Yeah.
Can we do a couple of those, and then Next thing you know, the editor's like, wow, that really stuck to the tape.
Yeah.
That was better than
Which, by the way, I didn't know. I've done several TV shows before I did my first televised roast. It was the roast of Gene Simmons. And at the rehearsal, I saw Jeff Ross tell the director that the director said, all right, so Jeff, after Andrew Dice Clay, we have this funny idea. We're going to have some girls come up in Kiss outfits, and then they're going to dance around. And it was some kind of weird idea. And Jeff goes, yeah, I'm not doing that. Nice. And there was a pause, and the director goes, okay, we'll strike that. All right, so we'll go on to the next thing. And I remember being in the room going, what?
Nice.
You can say no?
Yeah.
You can say, like, I had no idea that you could say no. I've been in, up until that point, I had been in so many uncomfortable positions where someone is like, oh, then we're going to have you do this. And I go, oh my God, this is such a bad idea.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I should be speaking up because you're the director, you're the producer, and I don't know if and that was a amazing learning experience for me that you can say no.
You can say no. And so many people that get in hot water now for doing something in a thing, it's because they went, let's do one more take and maybe say this. And then that ends up being the thing. And they're like, damn it. Yeah. It's at the end of the day, you're exhausted. Yeah. You're like, my food's over there.
Yeah. Right. Hey, let's try one more take.
Yeah. Dude, and you know, the thing that one of the reasons why I wanted you to come on is because I had no idea. Like, we met you. Do you have that picture I sent you, Alex, of the night that we were hanging out with Alex at not with Alex. So we're hanging out with Pete at the show.
At the Burt show.
We ran into Pete at Burt's show, and we got this great picture, of course. And we've talked about this with Dave Buckner. I don't know if you know this, Pete, but the kid on the end, his name's Bon. That's Dave Buckner, the original drummer for Papa Roach, is squatting down there. That's his son, Bon. And while all of us were talking and just shooting the shit, Burt performed an intervention for that kid and said, hey man, you don't ever want to drink alcohol.
Don't be like me. Don't be like me, man.
Don't be like me. You don't want to do drugs. It's so bad. And he like really poured his heart out and almost cried to this 15-year-old kid. And then at some point, somebody from Live Nation said, hey guys, we got to go get in the vehicle for whatever. And Burt goes, all right, who wants to party?
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I gave that kid drugs. I gave him pure uncut cocaine. Wouldn't that be funny if I really, hey kid, look, I don't want you to learn it from your friends. Learn it from me.
Yeah. Don't get the stuff in the dude with the shirt off. Get it from me.
Dude,
I'm not asking nothing.
I start following Pete. Pete's following me on Instagram. And then in July, Pete's at the Ozzy show. And I go, no way. I didn't know that Pete loves metal. And and I was like, we gotta have him on. So as soon as Chris said Pete's coming to town, I was like, all right, dude, first of all, growing up, what was the music that really made you go, oh, this is different. This is special?
Oh man. I mean, well, I grew up like listening to punk rock because I was a skateboarder, you know? So like Black Flag, Suicidal Tendencies, all that kind of stuff. And that stuff was hard. But I remember the first time I ever heard Metallica, it was like, you know, and I was an Ozzy fan growing up too, but which I know that he pioneered all that. But like when I heard Metallica, it was the first thing that like I'd listen to it before I'd go to sleep. Like it was like a symphony. It had like it changed my brain waves, which I mean, you understand that. Like you go out and play in front of an arena. I don't know what that's like. I've done comedy in an arena and you're changing people's brain waves, but like your music is literally changing them. Like it's a drug and they're on drugs too, but it's really insane. And like, to me, metal is almost like if you have ADHD and you take Adderall, it actually makes you level.
Absolutely.
Like music to me is like the harder something is, the like calmer I feel, like the better I feel.
How crazy was that show in Birmingham?
It was so amazing. So when we walked in when Yungblud was doing Changes. Actually, we walked in right before that song, and then so all the artists had to do like one of their songs, an Ozzy song, and then another one of their songs.
Right.
And so we walked in during his first song. I was like, oh man, this guy's great. I didn't really know him. And then I got basically like I got crazy backstage passes because of Justin Chancellor, which he says hello.
Very cool. Who's Justin?
Justin's the bass player at Tool, and he's become one of my best friends. We met doing jury duty.
Really?
And like as adults. I know, and it was so funny because his wife was like, you know, he's like, we would just go to lunch every single day during this jury duty, and we'd have a couple of beers, and and I don't know,
jury of your peers.
Yeah, jury of our peers. Yeah, and
bass player Tool is one of your peers.
Yeah, and we just really bonded, and then so after like divorce, fire, jail,
Pete's been through a lot.
Yes. I've been through a lot this year.
Pete's been through a lot,
and so Justin was like, "Why don't I have you come over here? Like, I'll get you hooked up." Between Tool and Pantera, I had like I had like every lanyard. It was great. Wow. And then I always wear all black. So they're like, you're just going to look like one of the roadies. Yeah. First of all, don't buy the merch. So of course, I'm like a roadie that's wearing the merch already. Yeah. And Justin's like, what are you doing, mate? You're making me look like an asshole. But yeah, so we were like beside the stage for a lot of this stuff.
That's awesome.
Wow. And like like to you, that's normal. To me, it's not fucking, it's like wild. Yeah. And I've gotten to go backstage after the show, with the stickers, but I've never just been there watching like, everybody, there was a round
on stage.
Yeah. It was a round stage and it would turn and that's how they would turn it around so quickly.
They save time that way. So there's no, change over time. It's just like the changeover is happening while one artist is performing to the crowd. Yeah. Then the stage that's in the backside of that circle is being redone and prepared for the next set.
Yeah, and just like to see all these artists that I love do this, and then also it was one of the first festivals where they're like, we're running early because the prep time, all the tech people were getting shit set up so fast. Yeah. And so it was actually running ahead of schedule, and everybody was so to see Slayer and Pantera and all those guys like just fucking psyched to be with each other, and then like Steven Tyler's there, and then
Ron Wood.
Yeah, it was wild just to watch all these guys geek out over each other, and also to see my friends in Tool be like just really amped up, and like
do you have a move when you see someone like, fuck, I want to meet that guy? Like, do you ask your buddy just like, hey man, will you introduce me? Or
so Justin's wife Shelly is like a feral animal. Like she will just take me by the arm and be like, Pete, you got to meet so and so from this band, and I'll be like, Dad, and I'll literally be like, you don't need to meet me right now, because every time you meet somebody pretty cool, like they just are like, why do I need to meet this guy right now? Because there was a jazz mixer the night before, so I got to know almost everybody at this jazz mixer. Okay, and Shelly's just taking me around, and we're both pretty loaded, and I'm just like, oh, okay, like I just feel like you don't, but I think that made him like me, like right. And she'd be like, he's a comedian. You're going to like him. And then I made a lot of friends. So then the next day when I was backstage, it wasn't like I was just some stranger. Yeah. They were like, oh, it's Pete.
True.
But so, yeah, she really broke the ice when it came to all that. Because otherwise I would just been like, I don't need to meet you. If we meet, cool.
Yeah. Anyone that was particularly mind-blowing because you're like, I know exactly who this is.
Well, Ozzy. So I have
She introduced you to Ozzy?
No, I actually. So I'm gonna I don't know if this is illegal to say, but let's say I was on mushrooms, and I was on mushrooms.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And I went to the porta potty.
Did you kill Ozzy?
No, I didn't. I did it, but I made him laugh. That was crazy.
That's the best.
So I go to the porta potty, and it's the VIP one, and there's all the security is around there, and this like really big dude, like the kind of size where like he's not gonna live long,
Yeah, we know these guys. We know
one of those security guys. And he comes up and he goes, dude, you're one of my favorite comedians. And we take a picture together. I was like, what?
I love it.
And like, I'd been walking around with like Florentine and Norton and Joe Coy all day. And like, those guys are getting recognized left and right. And then finally, like one guy wants my picture. That's so cool.
That's awesome.
So I go, by the way, there's something happening. He goes, well, yeah, Ozzy's coming. And I go, okay, well, I got to go to the bathroom. And I'm 48, prostate. It's going to take a second. And he goes, all right, well, if Ozzy comes, just like kind of stay in there or whatever.
Stay in the porta potty.
So you're on shrooms in a porta potty, waiting for Ozzy Osbourne's arrival.
His final performance ever.
Yeah, waiting for, and it's also one of those VIP ones where there's a black set of stairs with like a railing, and and so I'm peeing, and then all of a sudden, so this Bentley SUV, it like nudges into the stairway. And it like hit, so I'm like,
is Ozzy driving?
That's what I thought. I laughed to myself. I go, is Ozzy driving? And I'm laughing, and on shrooms, I just laugh. I laugh so hard. So I'm like wiping tears, going, is Ozzy driving? And then I get to the top of the stairway, and the security guy's about to help Ozzy out of the car, and Ozzy was in like a wheelchair kind of a thing. And so I go, should I go back in? And he goes, no, Pete, stay there. And I hear Ozzy go, who's Pete? And he goes, he's a comedian. He's stuck in the porta potty because you guys hit it. And he goes, oh, that's why we hit. Okay. And he goes, I'm gonna get Ozzy in the chair, and then I'm gonna come get you. And I'm like, how the fuck is he gonna get me? Like it's just like it's a railing. I'm like, how do I don't know how to get out. And I'm like, do I climb over the railing, or I don't know what's gonna happen, or do I climb on top of his Bentley and roll off? And so he's like, trust me, I'll come get you. And so he puts Ozzy in the chair, and then he comes and he goes, lean over the railing. And I was like, what? And he's like, Titanic, dude. So I like lean over it, and he grabs me like how you grab a child that you're babysitting by the armpits, and he just goes effortlessly. Yeah. And he just sets me down right next to Ozzy, and Ozzy goes, oh, did he just pick you up like a child?
like Simba from Lion King. Simba!
Yeah. And you got to imagine that I'm on mushrooms and everything's funny to me and I'm quick-witted. And I go, did he just pick you up like a baby? And he started laughing. He goes, I guess he did. That was and I didn't understand
like my Lemmy story.
I love it. I didn't understand. Yeah. We were just laughing. I go, I'll never have a chance to say this to you, but I love you and thank you so much. And I just walked away.
Pete, that is such a great story. You got the moment with Ozzy his final night that he performed.
On his final night. And dude, his performance was insane. So I was watching it with Justin and his family. And the first set that he did, we were crying because like he was rumored that he wasn't even going to come out. Mm-hmm. And then you could see it on his face, him going like, and we've all had performances where we're sick or, or we're hungover or whatever. And you go, how am I going to get through this?
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden you start doing it and you get proud of yourself. And so you could see it on his face that he went out there, like, how am I going to do this? And then he could see that like it was automatic, like he's like, shit, I've been having trouble doing everything, but I can do this. And then you see him start to like realize, oh wow, now I'm happy and I'm doing the thing and I haven't been able to do this. And like you know how like the people go, oh, that was a really good thing that you did, that you made everybody laugh. It's not for you. Yeah. It's for us. It's a drug. You're getting energy just put into your body like
it changes your stand-up.
Yeah.
You have ideas that get so well received that you go, yeah, and then all of a sudden doors start opening to the ideas.
Yeah.
Because of how it's being received. So yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so you can see that happening to him. And then you see it hit him. Wait, this might be the last time I'm ever on stage. And you can see him start to cry. And we're all crying.
Yeah.
Like Justin and Shelly and I were arm in arm and we're like, and he's with Justin's with his family and he's home in England. And we're all crying. And by the way, they were like, Ozzy might not come out. So all the singers were prepared, like James Hetfield, Steven Tyler, like all those guys were ready, like Yungblud, they were ready just to like step in and do the other songs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like a backup plan.
So this is like when Chris Farley hosted SNL. They had Chris Rock rehearsing all the sketches week because Farley was in such bad shape that in case he didn't make it to Saturday, Chris Rock was also rehearsing all the sketches.
Yeah.
It's a legendary story, but I had no idea that Ozzy, that they had a backup plan. And it makes complete sense, by the way, because leading up to that show, everyone's like, okay, great idea, great concept, but can Ozzy do this?
Right.
Can he actually perform? So it makes complete sense they would have backup. But your backups are Hetfield and Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, legends backing up a legend.
And then I mean, also imagine that they'd already done an Ozzy song that day, so like they really were rehearsed and primed, and it was said earlier in the day because he hadn't been feeling well, and like a month earlier I think he had COVID or something like that, and it really took a long time. So they thought that he was just going to kind of come out and wave and be like, thank you, Birmingham, like I love you, you're my hometown.
Right.
That's what we thought was gonna happen. So he does the first song and we're like, whoa, all right. That's all he had to do. And then you could see him like going like no. So he does another song and then he does 5 songs. And it was supposed to be a maximum of 3, he does 5.
Nice.
So then we all go back to the VIP thing. And imagine it's like, it's like Metallica and Tool and all those guys
hanging out in the same room,
and they're going, what the fuck? And we all have red eyes because we were all crying.
Yeah.
Like everyone in that room was going, what the fuck? And then a lot of these guys are going, okay, for the Sabbath set, we got to go out and perform now. So they had just been crying and they're like, we got to perform. And then it starts going around the room. So Sabbath wasn't supposed to go on for like another 15 minutes and we're all grabbing drinks. And they're like, what? And like you could hear music starting. And they're like, Ozzy basically was like, I don't want to waste any time.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking go.
I'm here. So my voice is here. Let's do it.
And they're all going, wait, we don't have to sing. Wait, he's doing it. Do we still have to in case? And then he does 8 songs.
Yeah.
And we like ran back and then cried so much more. Mm-hmm. And then at the very end, it was so funny because we're like all in tears, like all these rockers, like men, you know. And I do think it's manly to cry. But then they, right at the point where we're all like going, you know, like I call it
that's not manly.
I call it pulling the straw in and out of a In-N-Out cup. You know, they shot off these fireworks, and I was like, oh, they knew that they needed noise so that the whole stadium wasn't going. And so it was such a great moment, and yeah, I have pictures of, you know, Justin and I, like afterwards. There's this great picture of him and his brother and his sister, you know, like hugging with tears in their eyes. And I was like, it was so great. And it was so awesome that we got to say bye to him and like, thank you to him. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't think that I personally needed to have any opportunity to say hi to him or like, I love you and thank you. I'm glad I did, you know, and
especially in a very comedic sense too.
Yeah.
So it was like the universe was like, here you go, man.
Yeah.
This is right where you need to be.
Yeah. It was, and I was like, that's so, and by the way, shout out to mushrooms. Like without mushrooms, I might have been a little tense, but mushrooms they made me feel like I had borrowed someone else's eyes for the day.
Were there any musicians that surprised you how nice they were, or any that you made friends with, that you connect with? Did you make any good friends that you're like, wow, I'm actually friends with that guy now?
Well, it was funny because Yungblud, when he first got off stage, I'm just an idiot standing there. And keep in mind, like, he had like, I think like 300,000 fans. And then by the end of the day, he had like 1.3 million.
Oh, yeah.
And,
that was the big coming out moment for him.
Yeah.
Like, he was introduced to the world that day.
Crowning moment.
And I just remember seeing him because he like came out the little tunnel and back. And I go, wow, what the fuck was that? And he goes, yeah. And like that was the whole exchange. But like, just like, it was just, there's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
I would like to put Pete in 1985 standing there at Wembley when Freddie Mercury comes off stage and goes, wow, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And Freddie Mercury goes, yeah.
Like, oh my
That
God.
was a historic moment
Yeah.
that you caught him coming off the stage from.
I feel like Forrest Gump sometimes.
Absolutely. I get that.
My friends are like, dude, you have insane stories. And I'm like, yeah, I was just there at that time. And I don't know why.
I get that.
But yeah, it's the weirdest thing that, you know, that was lightning in the bottle. And by the way, I didn't like walk to cut him off. Like I'm never that guy that's like, I got to get in there. It just all sort of falls into place.
Yeah.
I'm constantly laughing lately going, what
I
what
totally
is this
get
life?
that.
Yeah.
I had asked you about, have you ever had music artists that surprised you that they knew you? And was it something about Backstreet Boys that they knew who you were?
Yeah. So, so Zooey Deschanel, I go out on the road and I open for She and Him for them. And She and Him's their band, and they're awesome. And they like to do Christmas tours. And Zoe's also an improviser. She's really good at it. And so we do, you know, there's always a point where, where the band has to piss and then the lead singer has to piss.
Sure.
And they kind of cover like, you know, two of the people, whatever. Well, whenever the band had to pee, her and I would just do improv.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
The band would do a musical thing so that she could go pee.
Nice.
And so we did this the Ace Theater in LA, and I just didn't realize that the Backstreet Boys were there. And
Oh no.
no, but
Did you make jokes about?
well, I did make a joke. So I used to have a joke about that the Backstreet Boys created COVID. And I'm like, hear me out, because I believe in the secret. I believe that when you put words out in the universe, they come true. And the Backstreet Boys have been circling the globe for 30 years, saying, show me the meaning of being lonely. And finally, the universe was like, here's COVID.
Yeah.
And I was like, so the Backstreet Boys created COVID. So I get this video of them at a Tampa Bay tailgate. And they're like, hey, Pete Lee, we saw you at the Ace Theater. We love you, man. But I hear you going around saying that we created COVID. And we just take exception to that. And by the way, they're like a little tipsy maybe. And it's funny as shit. So I I put out that video, and then I put out that as like the rebuttal, and it went really well on the internet. But now it's funny because like I wish I would have gone and saw them at the Sphere, and I guess they're going to do more, but I'd like to go back. But their wives will like kind of comment in my comments, and because we're all friends now. And I had a gal that I was dating that was a little jealous, and she's like, who is this? I won't say her name. And she's like, why is she's really hot and blah, blah, blah. I was like, that's one of the Backstreet Boys' wives.
Yeah.
Like, believe me.
Well, how does she know you?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, that is a funny thing when somebody gets jealous and you're like, that's a way more successful guy's wife that will never want to like do.
And if you're anything like me as a musician, the girls I'm dating weren't around when the Backstreet Boys were around. So, yeah. She's like, who? The Backstreet who?
That's really funny.
Pete, is there a Metallica story? Is there some, like Chris had said that there was a great Metallica story?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was, so I don't know if this is the one, but so at my bachelor party, was this the one about me doing drugs?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know this story.
Yeah. So, and by the way, I get a reputation for like being a big drug guy because I talk about it because a lot of the best stories are drugs.
Sure.
But I want to live long. But like most of the people that I know that do cocaine, they're like, never tell anybody that you do it. Never tell anybody. Never tell anybody that you've done it or you do it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then nobody starts talking about it until they're in recovery. Well, and then they have the best stories. But I intermittently do it, and I really do have the ability to intermittently do it. And
started late. We had a conversation at that show you did with Bert.
Yeah.
And you said you didn't do coke for the first time until you were...
It was like 45.
Woo!
Yeah.
God, that's
you beat
crazy
me.
to me.
I was 36 when I did it for the first time.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Coke is great as a teenager. I'm just saying that.
See, I would have loved that.
Anyway.
I had a dirt bike.
Yeah. Anyways.
But when I do it, I don't like it when you get to the bump.
Oh,
yeah,
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like sitting around doing afters at a kitchen table with everybody lying. Like, and you're just, I hate that. I've done it. I like to do, I call it a couple toots, and it's a couple toots to get you to the next bottle of water to let you end the night, and hopefully your dick works.
Yeah.
That's the level.
Never works, but yes.
Yeah, oh, dude. Yeah. It only maybe with two, but even then you're going,
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you got a Metallica story.
Yeah.
About being...
Okay. Yeah. So I'm at my bachelor party, and I'm.
Oh, okay. It's bachelor party.
It's my bachelor party for my marriage that I had for a little while. That ended. And I can't talk about that, but I can talk about my stuff. So my manager Joe borrows Def Leppard's tour bus, and he goes, pack your backpack. And this is a pretty cool story, but he goes, pack your CPAP because it's gonna be sleepover. So and then he goes, go to the
all that cocaine nose damage.
Yeah, I get it. You gotta. And so I go, where do I go? And I'm at SoFi, so I'm like, okay, I think we're going to Metallica. But why don't I need my CPAP? And where am I going to put my CPAP? Well, it turns out the Def Leppard bus was parked like with the other buses
with the Metallicas.
So I get on there, and all my friends are there, and he's like, and oh god. So we're drinking and partying, and then we get to go down the tunnel of SoFi and like go into the belly of the beast. And
you're describing a show that Chris opened.
Yeah.
This was just recently. Then, like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
And we were there. I was there at 3 p.m. to see you guys.
Nice.
Which, by the way,
thank you very much. Start.
I want to curtsy like an English woman. That was phenomenal. But which, by the way, I have questions of what that was like. But all right. So anyway, I'm not really on drugs at that point. And then we get back on the bus, and I was like, well, that was cool. You got us a little staging area. And then we went to Metallica and cool bachelor party. And they're like, no, bus is taking off. We're going to Vegas. And then so the tour bus went to Vegas, and we partied all day and all night. And dude, we went to see the Chainsmokers, and I know what the Chainsmokers look like, but imagine there was CA and with CA. I go backstage. Imagine everybody back there looks like the Chainsmokers. I was trying to find the Chainsmokers, and I couldn't figure out which fucking dudes they were.
Yeah.
They're all wearing short shorts and high white socks, and I'm like, you all are the Chainsmokers. So people go, did you meet them? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we went to Marshmallow that night. We went to the strip club. I went to the same strip club last night. It was great. And then we got back on the bus, and we went back for Metallica again. So we went
second night
2.
Nice.
So imagine,
Oh wow!
like
night 2 is when you would have seen Chris.
Oh
You
yeah,
guys-
that's what I had to
yeah,
do a whole lot of singing that night if it's the show that I'm thinking of.
yeah.
Oh,
it
wow,
was,
okay.
yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
you guys were phenomenal. But imagine I'm rocked out, like I'm on day 3.
That's a bit much.
Of
Yeah.
just yeah.
yeah.
And
That's the perfect time to see us.
honestly, you guys, cocaine is like that is the red wine to the steak. Like seeing you guys on day 3 of cocaine and Molly was fucking
I
awesome.
love it.
And so then Justin comes, and imagine I had met him like 2 weeks earlier, and he was like, he's like, "Hey, mate, I want to introduce you to Metallica and the guys backstage and blah blah blah." And because he came there with Tool, and they had like a suite, and then he came down for the thing, and he gave me snake pit passes for my friends.
Nice.
And I was like, yeah, man, it's gonna be so fucking cool. I can't wait to meet you. And like there are times where you're on coke and you're just mellow, and I was like, and he goes, oh no, he goes, you're on cocaine, and I go, I am cocaine. And he goes, oh no, he goes, they have a sober backstage, because like some of them are sober, some of them are not.
Yeah,
but they just before you perform, it's sober. And he goes, you can't. He goes, you're too coked up to meet Metallica. I go, this is the coolest I've ever been. He thought I was gonna be bummed out, but by the way, chemically, I was incapable of being bummed out. I was like, dude, this is the coolest I've ever been.
Yeah,
I've been a square my whole life, and I'm too coked up to meet Metallica.
Yeah.
And it was so fun, and I finally got to meet most of Metallica at the Ozzy thing, and I got to tell them that story. It was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and then it happened at Power Trip too, that I was too coked up to meet Metallica.
Oh my God.
And but by the way, that makes it sound like my friends go like, don't tell people because you're gonna get a reputation, but.
Sounds like 2 bumps really do you like hardcore.
2 bumps a whole weekend.
Yeah.
I totally see what he's saying, though. I remember being at a Metallica show at the Forum, and James, singer, sober, walked into an after party, and there was a porn star at the after party who had her shirt off, and she was taking pictures of people, and Hetfield walked in and said, get her out. Like he had security, like, get out. Who's with you? Everyone get out. And they threw it was like, we don't need this behavior here. So
because James Hetfield can say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can say no.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a callback, fellas.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Dude, I love the callback.
Dude, you're going to concert. You're basically like, so now that we're connected on Instagram, I see you doing what is, in my opinion, the coolest thing about doing stand-up comedy when you start to establish yourself is you start to find out that musicians, there's this mutual admiration society. Musicians, every one of them say what you do is the scariest thing in the world. I can't imagine being alone on stage. And then and they're all goofballs, by the way. Like every band I did a tour with Alice in Chains. That is the most like the most moody music you can listen to is Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
And there could not be 4 more goofier people I've ever met than those 4 guys in that band. And then as comedians, we wish we were cool. And we look at musicians like, I wish I could be a cool person, and so you've been taking advantage of this great spot where you get to go to concerts and get in for free and get to meet the musicians, and
it's wild. It's I mean, I say it all the time that I'm like, this is another Make-A-Wish day. And I always say that I feel like I've borrowed someone cooler's eyes for a second, and that one of my friends was like just she's gone to too much therapy. And she's like, you have imposter syndrome. And I was like, no, I think it's gratitude. I think I'm just like,
absolutely.
What the hell did I do to get to do this? This is great. Like, it's fantastic. Even right now, sitting with you two, this is awesome. Like,
dude, your stand-up is so much fun. You're just, it's unbelievable to me. Sometimes you see someone on stage that you just, I don't care where this set goes. I just love listening to this person.
Oh, yeah.
Just a very likable person on stage.
Oh, thank you.
And the life experiences and the stories this man has.
Dude, Pete,
it's incredible.
You would never think it in a million years. Pete, low key, again, in my opinion, Dean Martin of comedy. He can just drink and just shoot the shit with the crowd, do his stand-up. Genuinely found himself in a situation where he had to fight off police officers, which is so.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I'm not anti-police or anything.
No,
I've told
neither
people the story, and they cheer like it was a misunderstanding. I saved a guy's life on the sidewalk in New York City, and then I caught his head from hitting the ground, and then
you just happened to be in front of this restaurant or bar.
Yeah, I was walking up to a diner. I won't say the name of it.
You hear a scuffle.
The scuffle came at me, and the guy got knocked out into me, and I dove and caught his head, and then I saved his life. My hand's bleeding.
That's how hard his head.
That's how like he would have been dead. Yeah. And he was an illegal Mexican busboy, ran, and then I dressed like a busboy. Right. And then the diner owner knew that he was kind of in trouble, and he's like, "That's the guy."
Yeah, to you.
Yeah,
he said, "That's the guy."
He pins it on me, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And by the way, like I used to be a fighter in my 20s, and now I'm a to quote Tool's Invincible, I'm an aging warrior. You know?
So fighting, what kind of fighting did you do?
Taekwondo, Hapkido, which is just wrist manipulation. It's like when warriors would go in like and then they're all bunched up, and then at one point you're like in the battlefield scenes. There's always like 8 feet between people. Yeah, but they used to just collide and then go, what do we do? Like how do I kill this guy now? And so Hapkido is basically like when you're mushed up together, you can just like break a jaw or like the wrist.
Yeah, very useful in the wall of death at a metal show.
Yeah, it would be really useful for that. But so and then I just studied kickboxing. There's this guy James Burhans who was like he was like the Muhammad Ali of kickboxing. He trained me, and I fought for years. And dude, I lost so much until I started winning. Mm-hmm. But my master Fox, he didn't want me to just be like a strip mall Taekwondo kid. He wanted me to really learn it. And I also grew up fighting before that. So like even before that whole thing, I like really knew, I had like an intrinsic sense of fighting. But I've always been a kind, joyful person. And but one of the people go, well, wait, how could you be a fighter? Well, like, first of all, you fight happy, like, because anger clouds you, and it will even like get you like a second too slow. Mm-hmm. And so, is
that something you've heard before? You like nodded your head.
Oh yeah.
You fight happy, and so it was really it was part of my court case that the judge was confused why I was why I was happy.
Well, we got to back up to how this ended up in court, because you got fingered. The guy said, "This is the guy."
That's a whole other story.
And then one of the officers came after me. And I'm not going to give the full details because I did it on one podcast and people got real mad. But let's just say that I fought the police very well. Yeah. For 49 seconds.
How many cops was this?
6.
Yes.
And I was also trained in group fighting, and I fought them very well. And then the joke that I say on stage is, do you know when the police start winning? When you're in handcuffs. Yeah. They're so good at fighting you when you're in handcuffs. Yeah. And they ended up shackling me. I was like really in a bad way. And the most humiliating part of it, because I was really scared for my life at one point, I go, "Stop beating me. I'm famous."
Oh, no.
And that's when they stopped beating me. And there's an officer who now I'm like best friends with. His name's Officer Balda. And he really stopped it and saved my life. And then he was the one that took me to the hospital. And the officers and I were cool now. We're friends. They came to the Comedy Cellar to see my show.
That's awesome.
Like I have a huge admiration for the police. I felt bad. Like we've given each other forgiveness in that it was scary for them, it was scary for me. And like you rarely in life get forgiveness from the people that traumatized you. Mm-hmm. I traumatized them. Mm-hmm. And so it really was like, I don't know, it was a terrible thing, but like it's been made right. And at one point the judge asked me to speak, and I was like, and she's like, "Mr. Lee, you look like hell." And I was like, "Well, I'm not sleeping well at night." And she's like, "Well, why?" And I go, "Well, number one, I'm facing 5 years in Rikers." and I go, and I was like, and I have complete accountability, and I know I don't know what's going to happen. Well, it turns out if the original crime didn't happen, none of the resisting arrest happened.
Right.
So I got off on that technicality, and then I volunteered for community service because I was like, I need some sort of punishment. Which, by the way, community service wasn't a punishment; it was wonderful. Yeah. But she goes, it was kind of a funny moment. She goes, "Mr. Lee, you're judging yourself. That's why you can't." I go, yeah, I have so much remorse for. I go, I can sleep, I can handle my beat down, but me hurting them, that's what I can't handle. Yeah. Mm. And she's like, "All right, Mr. Lee, well, what do you do as a for work?" And I go, I'm a comedian. I was like, I've already stated that. She goes, "So what do you do?" And I go, I tell jokes, and like, Your Honor. And everything that I answer, I'm like, is this gonna seem like I'm an asshole? You know? She goes, Mr. Lee, what do I do? And I go, well, you're a judge, Your Honor. And she goes, so what do I do? And I go, you judge people? And she goes, yeah. So she goes, I'm judging you, and I'm saying you're okay. And so she goes, do not judge yourself. She goes, you're staying awake at night. And I was like, and I started crying. And I go, that's beautiful. And I go, I hope that works. And she goes, do you think you're a better judge than me? It was a really funny moment where she like made a crying man laugh in court that maybe may or may not have deserved it, you know.
Right.
But it was wild. But yeah, I got exonerated and
like footage of the fight.
There's footage that no one will see. There's 8 views, and then we got the footage from the place next door. Because you won't believe this, the diner wiped their footage. But there's body cam footage of it. I've watched it 3 times.
The body cam footage.
Yeah, I don't know if there might be a time in my life where I'll have a private viewing thing. But you see that SanDisk hard drive? My lawyer was like, get this off of your computer, get it off of any internet connected device, because you do not want this out there. Because I have friends that go, just send it to me. And I'm like, do you understand what a bad idea that is?
Exactly.
Like, think about in our society, everyone has such a polarized opinion of whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I'm telling the story.
Yeah.
And I, to a certain extent, I'm just controlling the narrative. I think I'm having a lot of accountability.
Sure.
But like, imagine if just a video was out there and then people could go, he's bad or this bad. And they always assume that oh, well, he hates the cops. No, I don't.
Right.
Of course. It doesn't matter if you say it.
They can also pick apart the finite parts of what happened in
a moment.
And,
and
try to analyze little moments that they think pull you in a different direction.
And you're watching those videos with your already preconceived idea of who you're going to support in that. So if you're pro-cop, then you're obviously going to be like, oh, this dude's an asshole. If you're anti-cop, they're like, those cops deserved it.
Right. How
it's
weird
not
is
going
it
to change your mind at all.
How weird is it to see video of you fighting cops?
I cried. I cried. And it was 49 seconds. And so, everyone was like, it was wild. Like for 49 seconds, I became Jason Bourne. And I don't
The Jason Bourne of comedy.
Yeah, the Jason Bourne of comedy. It was really weird. I didn't like it because I don't like a gun is the only tool that you never want to use. And also fighting it. And imagine being 48 going, I'm done. There's no more. I'm not doing any of it. And then I wouldn't have done it if I wouldn't have been swarmed and I didn't fear for I didn't fear for my life.
And kudos to them too, because they could have easily pulled something out.
Yeah, the cops
handled it. So
the cops
straight.
Definitely acknowledged what had happened, and they helped you.
They did help
to get to the spot that you're in now, where you have been cleared of that. I've been asking you about rock stars who surprised you, that were nice to you, but are there any comedians that you looked up to that know who you are, that you're like, holy shit?
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. It's always weird whenever I see Dave Chappelle and he's like, "Hey Pete, how are you?" And like, and then
Dave is the best.
He's the best. And then there are just moments where I don't know. I don't know what it is about him, but he's a great soul, a great human being.
Agreed.
But every time we've even spent a lot of time together, and then still when he's like, "Hey Pete," I'm like, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
I will say there was one night I hadn't seen Dave after superstardom happened for I want to say it was close to 10 years. And then one night I'm at the Improv on Melrose and people start saying, hey, Dave's going to show up. Dave's going to show up. And it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't think he's going to show up. And then he rolled around at 1:15, ended up going on stage at 1:30, stayed on stage till 4:30.
Yes.
And at 2 a.m. they locked the doors to the Improv and they turned all the lights off in the lobby, and then they went through the showroom and they took all the alcoholic beverages off the tables.
Yeah.
And they let him just keep going. And but I hadn't seen him in 10 years, and he walks around the corner, and I just touched him on the shoulder, and I go, "Hey, Dave," and he goes, "Craig Gass, my God," and I was like, "Oh my God!" And I'm thinking, as we're having the conversation, he starts bringing up stuff like he goes, "Oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long, man. I am so sorry to hear about Mitch Hedberg, man." And I was like,
"Oh wow,
I didn't even know that he knew that Mitch and I lived together." And I was like, I never brought up Mitch to Dave.
Yeah.
And then we're talking. A girl walks around the corner and goes, "Dave, I don't know if you remember me, but I used to be a bartender at a place in Hollywood you used to go to in the 90s. And he goes, "Yeah, I remember that place. It was every Tuesday. We used to." And the girl,
good Dave.
And the girl goes, "Yeah, you remember?" And he goes, "Not only do I remember Vern Troyer used to hang out with us there." And she goes, oh my God, he did. And he goes, and that was before he was in the movies. That was before he was Mini-Me. Back then, he was just Vern the Midget. And she goes, oh my God, he was Vern the Midget back then. And I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe this famous, not just famous, this guy who has changed the industry of stand-up comedy has this soul and this incredible memory and compassion. And I was blown away by that. So
it's that Ohio, it's the Midwest, not this New York stuff.
There was not one of those. Wait, by the way, is it really 6:35?
Yeah, I know you got to show. You got to get to.
Yeah, I have to get to the cellar. Wait, this is a weird way to end a podcast.
Sure,
but maybe I'll request my lift and then we'll podcast until it comes.
Sure, you want to do that?
Perfect.
Let's do that.
Absolutely.
I just can't be late to the cellar show.
Okay.
Wait. Can I have the address? No, I'm kidding. On the air.
Yeah. So, Pete, if you get a chance, really, right now, you should just Google his name, look at his comedy online, because Pete is one of the most likable stand-up comedians out there. Bert Kreischer has taken a liking to him, and Bert's been taking him out on tour. A lot of comedians have been bringing him out. And what's amazing to me as a stand-up comedian is watching a guy, because this is frightening to me, let go of his set so much that he's willing to dive into anything that's showing up in the crowd. And that's something that happens to comedians after, so many years. You start to let go and you start to, in my opinion, I think that when you first start doing stand-up, everything is so rigid in your head that you're like, okay, I'm going to start out with this opening line and then I'm going to do this bit. Yeah. And then I got to work my way into this last bit. And then I'll say goodnight, and then I'll be like a big, And if anyone goes, hey, like you're like, yeah, I got the thing. It's all connected. Like I can't. Yeah. And then over time, you learn how to let go a little bit and find ways to go, anyways, and you get better and better and better at it, to where no matter what happens, you're able to always dovetail and make it look like, oh, this is what I meant to do. Yeah. And I think if you do it long enough, you actually hope that something horrifying happens in the crowd so that you can just suspend everything and just deal with somebody having a heart attack.
It is weird that I mean the only thing I don't like is if people kind of interrupt and then you reward them because you pivot and you do really well. Yeah. I've had it where I'll just say to the crowd, I'll be like, all right, these are my last 3 bits. And like, lady, I've rewarded you the whole show.
Shut your mouth.
But could you shut up for just this? Yeah. But like, I like
closers coming.
And I like you, but I just need to get through these ones. Cause there's nothing worse than the lady that like steps on your closing line. Oh, yeah. Go, okay. So, or like one beat before the beat that's the crescendo. Yeah. And you're like, God damn it, lady. Yeah. I was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the Improv, and I would describe this Saturday early show like it was a prison crowd. There's still people that message me that go, man, that crowd was they were the worst crowd I've ever seen in my life. And it was packed, and then just these weird, like, I don't know, scary dudes right up front. And it was, and they were just heckling, and you could tell they're spending a lot of money, and you could tell that these guys couldn't wait to fight me. And I'm going, oh, don't do this. And this lady just wouldn't shut up. And it was during my closer, and the improv sign, it's not the screen like they have, it's like the metal improv sign. Yeah. And I actually just broke, and I go, ma'am, you broke me. And I started banging on the eye of the improv. I was like, shut the fuck up. And the crowd, imagine you went there as an audience member and you wanted to see a good show. They hated this woman.
Yeah. Oh, of course. That's what always happens.
Still getting messages about how much people hate this woman.
That one person.
Which comedy is all about bringing people together. So we did do that, but in the hatred for this
one person. That always happens with it's so weird. You mentioned that in Fort Lauderdale too. There used to be a club down the road in Davie, which is right by Fort Lauderdale, where a guy pulled a gun out at one of my shows, and it wasn't for me. He wanted to shoot someone at his table who told him to shut up. And he went out to his car, and he was this really angry guy in the crowd who I kept referring to as like, angry guy knows what I'm talking about, right? Angry guy. And then at some point I go, angry guy, you know what I'm talking about, right? Guy, and and someone in the corner goes, he went to his car. He said he was going to get something. And I was like, and the whole crowd, ooh, and I was like, there's no way. And it was that. But Dude,
show's over.
Yeah. In 6 minutes, do you have a worse comedy gig story?
So I was pretty new to comedy, and then we've all had spouses that just realized that this path that we're on is going to make their life hell.
Yeah.
Because the money doesn't come early, and so they're just in the hell part of it. Well, I had this girlfriend in college, and we were supposed to like do something fun that weekend. I was like, yeah, but I got a gig in Fargo, North Dakota. And we lived in Minneapolis, so we took my Geo Prism that was barely rolling, and so I was getting paid $150. I think the gas cost more. And then so this guy Tom Hansen, him and his brother Scott.
Of course, the Hansen brothers.
Yeah, the Hansen brothers. So he's like, and this was like before cell phones and whatnot, or there were cell phones, but he was like, all right, just get to Fargo and find a phone and call me, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the instructions.
Okay.
So I did that, and we get to Fargo, and we're just like at this diner, and I'm calling him. I go back to the table, and I have to tell this person who's in a bad mood that we're there already that we have to go up I-29 all the way to 13 miles away from the Canadian border, and it's this place called Langdon, North Dakota.
Okay.
And she's like, what? She's like, what time is the show? I was like, I didn't get that information. And just classic guy on the phone.
Yeah.
So we get to the hotel, and it's like this just one hotel town. And the lady comes out from back, and she goes, "You must be Pete." And I was like, "Yeah." And I go, "How did you know that?" She goes, "Well, you and your guy you're doing the show with are the only two that are here." And I go, "Who's doing the show?" It's my friend Eric Page, which he passed away. He committed suicide, which that's not funny. But I think this gig might have contributed to it.
I've had those.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm not trying to make light of that subject. It's just Eric would have loved that joke.
Absolutely. Dude, when Brody and I started out together, there were jokes about Brody's suicide that everyone in that room said Brody would have loved that joke.
Brody would have loved that joke.
Absolutely.
So I go out there. All right, we got 4 minutes left on the Uber coming.
All right.
I go up on stage, and those bleachers in an auditorium. It's like the wood ones that they would go like ka-chung, 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 ka-chung. So it's just students. The lady at the hotel goes, "Well, it's a high school lock-in." Oh no! And I go, "What do you mean high school lock-in?" And she goes, "Oh, you didn't hear about the girls who died?" And I go, "What?"
Oh my God!
And she goes, "Yeah, last year they were drunk drove and they died, and so now they're locking them all in so nobody can die on graduation night, and then they want a comedian to make it fun." And I'm like, "Oh, this is terrible." And also by the time we got to the town, all the dinner closed at 6 p.m. So we're hungry and we're eating vending food. I'm eating vending machine food with this gal that does not like me. And so 2 a.m, we get to the high school lock-in. Ka-chung, 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 ka-chung. I'm out there with a wireless microphone. The principal introduces me. I'm killing, and I got to do 20 minutes, and I'm at minute 17. And this was back in 2002. Okay. And this was back when the word redneck wasn't like redneck pride. Right. It was right then. I just said this redneck from Minnesota, and this guy he goes, "What'd you say?" And I go, "Oh, I said redneck," and he's like, "Screw you." And so they'd given the kids these door prizes of children's toys. Oh no! And so they had Jackson Super Balls. So they started throwing Jackson Super Balls. It was raining, and imagine those. The jacks are basically the tiny version of the things in Normandy that were on the beach.
Yeah.
And so those are just raining on me, and then balls are bouncing, and I'm like, and so I retreat to the middle of the half court, and the principal comes up and grabs my microphone and goes, "Children," which by the way, you're graduating high school. You don't want to be called children.
Children, right? Yeah.
Children. I will revoke your graduation if you don't shut up and listen to this comedian. And I knew I had 2 minutes left. Oh, no. And so I did my last 2 minutes to silence. And then I was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Page." And then Eric had to go out there and be like, "Isn't static electricity weird?" And they were so mad about the principal calling them children that he had to do an hour. And then he just
silence.
Yeah. And then we got back to the hotel at 4 a.m. and it was awful. But then the next day we decided to go to Winnipeg because they had fun strip clubs, and that was really fun. So the trip ended all's well that ends well. But
was the girl your date? Was she at the show?
Yeah.
So she also watched the terrible performance as well.
Can I tell you what turned the whole thing around? She was so mad at me, and when that moment happened and they hated me, that was where she got happy.
See, I'm dealing with the same thing tonight because today is my girlfriend's birthday, and we have 7:00 dinner reservations tonight, and she's in the parking lot waiting for me right now. So we're going to find out if my girl's cool, Mr. Pete Lee.
Is your girlfriend David, the Lyft driver?
No, but my side piece is.
Pete, where can people find you online?
People can find me online at petelee.net.
Okay.
That's my website. Or on Instagram or TikTok at Pete Lee, or Facebook Pete Lee. And we all know that that's kind of the currency right now.
Go see him.
Pete
is one of the most likable comedians you will ever see. I've seen him a few times now, and every time it's just the crowd just loves him. Oh, yeah. He's just like, even in that giant venue that you did with Bert, the whole crowd was on your side and following you. Like, you're just a very likable comedian, man. And I'm very excited.
At Zany's too. Remember how weird that crowd was at Zany's that one night?
That crowd was so weird.
Yeah, and he managed to pull it out. And
oh yeah,
I feel like I'm giving a speech right now.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I turned them around. They had bad energy coming in. They all got into a fight in the car on the way there. That was funny. Yeah.
And Chris Kale and I, by the way, on our way to Cincy. We're on our way to Australia. We're on our way to Auckland, New Zealand, and Anaheim and Green Bay. Go get tickets at getgas.com. Get gas with 2 S's.com, and go see Pete Lee. You'll be glad that you did. Give him a follow on all of his social media. And, dude, you like the stories. So just get more of that. Following Pete Lee.
More of that.
Thanks,
thank you.
Thank you, buddy. That was perfect. Thank you.